In a recent Time magazine article, it states that it was always going to be a struggle for the U.S. to dissuade its Arab allies from going ahead with the UN Security Council resolution condemning Israeli settlements. Last week's People Power rebellion in Tunisia has made Washington's effort to lobby against the plan more difficult. Tunisia has given the autocratic leaders of countries such as Egypt and Jordan more reason to fear their own people. For those regimes, symbolically challenging unconditional U.S. support for Israel is a low-cost gesture that will play well on restive streets. Going ahead with the resolution, which was discussed on Wednesday at the Security Council and demands an immediate halt to all Israeli settlement construction in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, is, of course, a vote of no confidence in U.S. peacekeeping efforts. And it creates a headache for the Obama administration over whether to invoke the U.S. veto, as Washington has traditionally done on Council resolutions critical of Israel. The twist this time, the substance of the resolution largely echoes the administration's own stated positions. Washington had hoped that signaling its intention to veto such a resolution would force the Palestinians and their Arab backers to hold it back. But they went ahead and placed it on the Council's agenda, for which a vote is unlikely for a few more weeks, putting the U.S. on the spot. After all, the Obama administration has demanded that Israel end settlement construction to allow peace talks to go forward. After a 10-month partial moratorium expired last September, Israel resumed vigorous construction and has resisted pressure from Washington for another further freeze. U.S. Deputy UN Ambassador Rosemary DiCarlo said on Wednesday that the U.S. opposed bringing the settlement issue to the Council because such action moves us no closer to a goal of a negotiated final settlement and could even undermine progress toward this. But the argument is unlikely to convince most of the international community, given the obvious stalemate in the peace process. There is no negotiations underway, and the Palestinians have refused to restart them until Israel halts its settlement construction. Initial responses at the Security Council reflect unanimous international support for the demand that Israel stop building settlements. If a vote were held today, the U.S. would be the only possible nay. The Security Council resolution is not an alternative to peace negotiations, its sponsors say. In fact, the text urges the parties to resume final status talks based on existing frameworks, which require a settlement freeze. The Obama administration has repeatedly described the ongoing settlement construction as illegitimate and an obstacle to peace. The resolution uses the term illegal because existing Security Council resolutions have described all Israeli construction in the West Bank and East Jerusalem to be a violation of international law. But whether the Obama administration vetoes a resolution whose contents it is substantially in agreement with may be settled by a domestic political debate. Even though the Obama administration seems to be opposed to a proposed UN resolution condemning settlement construction in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, it is looking more and more unlikely he will be able to continue vetoing action against Israel. It's clear that President Obama's agenda includes pleasing his Islamic allies and staying within their good graces. Zechariah 12:3 states, "And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it." According to this Time magazine report, we are officially seeing the beginning stages of this prophecy on the verge of literally being played out. This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.